Good afternoon, everyone. My name is George Filip. Today, actually, I'm replacing my colleague Simon Buckley, who was supposed to be giving this presentation. Unfortunately, he is giving a similar presentation, only at an event in Wales. I am George. I am the manager for connected and automated mobility at KTN, so I don't necessarily deal with the zero emissions agenda that much lately. But I am very familiar with it. So I've been asked to give a very short 5 minutes presentation about the opportunities that are out there, and I will have a very short slide about some of the upcoming ones as well. So talking about the open competitions, as we've seen in the presentations from both DANs, there are a few actually available at the moment. The first and probably one of the most important ones, which has been launched last week, is the zero emissions road freight. So the competition itself it consists of 3 different strands that looks at addressing the zero emission tracks and the associated infrastructure. Each of the strands has a 10 million pounds basically funding pot for each other. So the first one is the electric road system, and it focuses on in-depth planning, design, and pre-deployment studies for the future large-scale freight demonstration. The second one looks into hydrogen fuel cell for freight. So again, in-depth planning, design, and pre-deployment studies for freight demonstrations. And the third one looks into the supply chain technologies for zero emissions road freight. This also has feasibility studies looking as part of it. And again, they cover the design, development, and manufacturing of zero emission capable freight vehicles over 3.5 ton categories. So if you're looking back at the presentation that Dan just gave, it is basically for one of those 3 categories. So who should apply into this? It's basically focused on HGVs and truck OEMs, as well as the supporting supply chain. It's focused on the transport and logistics operators, local authorities, academias, RTOs, highway authorities, and so on, so on. Basically, it has a very wide remit. We are already had a networking event, a workshop to actually help build consortiums. So my colleague Simon already has a mini database of companies looking for partners. So I would encourage everyone that is interested in this competition to just drop him an email and basically talk about what you're needing for that. I will share his contact details at the end of my presentation. As part of the same competition, there is also an SBRI competition in which you don't actually need a consortium. You can apply as a single company. And it's focused on the zero emissions road freight, supporting the uptake of battery electric trucks, basically. And you can apply for a share of 10 million pounds that is going to be split based on the number of projects that will be funded. The competition deadline is on the 21st of April. So not a lot of time, but hopefully sufficient for people to actually have an application into it. The next competition actually looks at infrastructure solutions. And here we have basically another 10 million pounds on offer for solutions that address challenges associated with the transition towards zero emission vehicles. Again, same deadline as previously. It has its own feasibility studies strand, and the application should be focused on improving the public residential charging in urban areas, or improving rural charging as well as fleet charging, or even enhance the zero emission vehicle user experience. I think for the first time we have a competition that actually looked into this, but it's not the last one. The transitioning towards zero emission vehicles R&D competition is pretty much into the same area, but it only has 7 million pounds funding pot available. The applications should be focused on improving the range of zero emission vehicles, increasing the adoption of small commercial zero emission vehicles, as well as support the transition to zero emission vehicles for special use vehicles, such as refuse vehicles, for example. And again, it has a strong focus on user experience of zero emission vehicles for the lighter category of 3.5 tons and under. As we've seen and heard today during all the presentations, KTN is heavily involved in all the IACF grand challenges. And of course, at the moment, there is a Driving the Electric Revolution competition open, focused on the supply chains for net zero. 22 million pounds are available for innovation projects focused on the supply chain development for power electronics, electric machines, and drives. This has pretty much a longer deadline, so you have till the 30th of June to actually apply into it. In the upcoming competitions, I'm not sure how many of you have been made aware, but the UK will associate in the Horizon Europe. So association gives access to funding under the program, basically under the same terms as any organization in an EU country. Horizon Europe will start mid to late spring 2021, so pretty much it's next month. There are two main transport-related partnerships under Horizon Europe that are launching competition starting the 15th of April. So I have been heavily involved in the scoping workshops for both CCAM and 2.0. So the Connected, Cooperative and Automated Mobility Partnership is launching competitions in value of 70 million pounds, focused on 10 different streams pretty much. And the 2.0, towards zero emissions transport, pretty much the same funding part, same opening date, and it gives a huge opportunity for companies in the UK to actually be a part of those big demonstrator projects, as well as collaborations with EU partners. For more information, I have put the contact details of Louise Mothersall from Innovate UK, who is the national contact point for the UK in Horizon Europe. Finally, the KTN transport team. So as I mentioned, my colleague Simon Buckley is the Zero Emissions Mobility Lead, but feel free to drop us a line anytime if you have questions or you need support. We are government funded, so everything is free from that perspective. So anytime you're searching for something, please do get in touch with us. And that's me. Thank you very much.